Here we are back at the fruit forest. It doesn't really look like a forest now, but things have been changing. One problem that, of course, I'm dealing with is a very massive root system from this lychee tree. Even though the lychee tree has essentially stopped growing, its roots are just all over the place. So I was thinking of planting, like 3-gallon trees around. There's just no way to find a space for a 3-gallon root system in this area. So what I decided to do is plant seeds. So I put stakes in the ground where I'm planting the seeds because I don't want somebody to weed the seedlings out once they do start to germinate. So this happens to be canistel. So I'm hoping that a nice canistel tree will be in this area. Be a beautiful thing to look out at from the window over there. Then I've planted some black sapote seeds in this area. And then we have black sapote here. Right here we have some temporary addition to the fruit forest. It's watermelon. Shannon is really fond of this particular variety of watermelon. I think it's called Black Diamond, but by far, it's the only type of watermelon he eats, and as a kid he grew lots of watermelon in Missouri. So anyway, we have a professionally done mound for the watermelon to grow on. Then I put another couple of black sapote seeds there. This particular plant is a relative of Barbados or West Indian cherry, and I don't think it's as good as the Barbados cherry. So it's going to be a long-term resident of this area, but I'm going to trim it back and make some space for some other plants too. So we have other watermelon growing here. This is a soursop, and though it doesn't look real good at the moment, I'm guessing that most of it is still alive. I'm feeling that some of these small branches are, well, that one is alive when it got close to the more major branch. But we're going to just wait for this to sprout out. Apparently we have some caterpillars that for some reason are liking this. There's a handful of those around at least. So I'm not sure what they're eating on there, but possibly it might be beneficial. But here we have some other things going on. Of course, we have a few miracle fruit, but this is one of the topwork mango trees. And so it looks like we might get some Francis Hargrave fruit this year. Whoops, got a little spider web over here. And then this one, this tree actually set 3 fruit last year, but we had a big windstorm and it blew the fruit off. But this is also just a random mango seedling that sprouted up, and I had top worked this to Seacrest. So it has been just beautiful. The bloom are getting a little bit old at this point, some of them anyway, but definitely really look spectacular. And then we have some more watermelon here, of course the same variety, and basically what's going to happen with the watermelon is it gets to be a pretty big vine, and it will just sort of spread over a huge area of this part of the fruit forest. There's plenty of sunshine at the moment, so it should do well. This has been planted. Shannon planted this with a lot of cow manure, and so that apparently the cow manure and mounding it up are really good things to do when you're wanting to grow watermelon. But this should spread all over and then hopefully produce some rather large fruit. But of course, then after it produces the fruit, it pretty much dies. So it's a temporary thing to grow here, and it seems like a great time to do it because there's a lot of sunshine still in this area because the trees are small or not yet sprouted. So on this north side of the fruit forest, the clusia is coming along. We've got the custard apple that is recovering from the cold, all new leaves after, cold is sort of a relative term, but they definitely do defoliate, or mostly defoliate, when the cool weather hits. But what I've also done in this area is I put some large round stones, I guess they're patio stones, and just put sort of collections of potted plants in these areas because, why waste the space? This area has not been planted out yet, but these are great places to put some of the fruit trees that we have that are not yet ready for sale. Some of them are not ready for sale because I haven't grafted them yet. That's the case with these black sapote trees here. They had gotten too leggy and I missed my first opportunity, so I'm going to wait for my second opportunity. And then I have some mango trees, unfortunately, that have lost their tags. And so I try and segregate those, wait for them to flower and fruit, and then when I know what variety they are, I'll sell them. And one more thing, you might remember this mango tree from a previous video. We didn't plant the seed here, it just started growing, and it was a real trooper because there are massive roots right in this area. But it grew. For some reason it was able to hang on, and it actually flowered and set fruit a couple years ago. But what's happening this year is we've got flowers going here. Looks like flowers emerging there, definitely here. And I think that there might even be some flowers coming out on these tips. So this is obviously a seedling mango, and it could be a new variety that's good, or it might be a new variety that we will need to top work. So there's a quick look at how our fruit forest is doing at this point in time. I'm really encouraged by how it's coming along, and I'm also looking forward to having some temporary crops. This year, of course, it's the watermelon, but in the future, I'll see what other things I might want to grow along the ground as just basically an annual. And then, of course, we'll have all sorts of permanent trees that will keep getting bigger.